Hi everyone and welcome back. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about the Mercury Retrograde in Virgo happening from August 23rd to September 14th, 2023. Welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the really climactic Mercury retrograde that we have, which is starting the retrograde Earth trine. Okay, we already have a retrograde Taurus energy of Uranus and Jupiter. We have retrograde Pluto energy in Capricorn, and now we have retrograde Virgo energy with Mercury. Mercury and Mars were conjunct in this sign before this retrograde started. Mars is moving on, and Mercury is going back. So I'm going to just talk to you all about my feelings about this Mercury retrograde and the shifts that are happening surrounding it. Okay, so yes, Mars is moving on, Mercury is going back. This means that we have a different way that we are physically acting here. We have a different direct outcome. We have a different way that we are pursuing certain goals. We have a totally different system and routine in place. However, the mindsets and thought patterns are a bit off. So I really loved this Mercury-Mars conjunction in Virgo because in August, we had a lot of questions about like how energy was flowing and a lot of thought-provoking situations that brought up really relevant questions about how much we're putting ourselves through, how much we're focusing energy in certain places, and can we kind of integrate this better? I feel that a lot of people have taken meaningful action, and I feel that there needs to be a continuance during this Mercury retrograde of that meaningful action to start to provide a better way forward. So, yes, a lot of us, what is indicated by this Mercury retrograde in Virgo is that many people aren't necessarily using sustainable mindsets, okay, and also certain systems, household routines, and organizational aspects of the mundane life, right? Mercury retrograde in the 6th house ruled sign of Virgo indicates that a lot of us are going to be rethinking and redoing systems and routines. If you're smart, okay, you would have gotten a lot of this in order before the Mercury retrograde. That's why it's great to get this video a little bit early as well, because you can still kind of like work pretty hard here to get some of these more mundane systems in your life together. Okay, so knowing certain limits, knowing certain boundaries that you don't want to cross, working on things more methodically and in a more stretched out way, so doing a little bit in small bursts over a long period of time, instead of procrastinating things to the last second, will be a great strategy for this Mercury retrograde in Virgo. I think that a lot of people are just going to be seeing perhaps what procrastination leads to, what burnout means. Okay, with Mercury and Mars having been together, burnout's a big thing that's going to be diagnosable during this time, as well as stress injuries or anything that basically results from not having balanced systems. So being kind of like extreme or polarized, perhaps in your like exercise regimes, in your work, in your time management, all of this is going to start to get way more visible during this time of August 23rd to September 14th. And we need to kind of set certain systems in order so that we have the ability to start to discover new things that work better. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of people during this transit having had things that worked for a really long time. So certain business models, certain exercises, certain types of budgeting, or certain types of diets. Okay, all of these things are ruled by the 6th house, ruled by Virgo. Okay, a business model, a diet, a budget. What do all these things have in common? These are prescriptions, okay? These are sort of like personal laws or regulations about what we involve in, what we think works for us, what we think through repeating gains some type of ground. Okay, all of this could possibly be thrown into question during this retrograde. All of the dietary choices, all of the certain business models that used to work, certain jobs that used to work, certain health regimens that used to work. For some people will totally be thrown into question if there's been a polarity within it, or if this like is not what you're meant for, if this is not actually graceful for you, if this is something that's not actually sustainable. So we're going to have a big surge of questioning sustainability with this transit. Keep in mind that we have, as I said, an entire retrograde Earth trine. Something about this time is very unsustainable. Something about the choices that collective consciousness is making is kind of, to me, feeling a little bit desperate. It's kind of like, I know this doesn't work, but I just need the present moment to figure things out, so I'm saying yes to it anyway. Retrograde Earth Trine, many things which we used to materially accept will now perhaps be rejected. There's a big feeling of, again, reduction, withdrawal, saying no to certain things. And there's a feeling of refinancing or reallocating, reappropriating our circuit board of life here, right? Mercury is really the circuit board. It's like all of the different, if you look at the circuit board of a house, this is something that would be ruled by Mercury. It's budgeting or appropriating the house's electrical supply to different areas of the house. Virgo, Mercury and Virgo, perfect. Perfect image for Mercury and Virgo. Can you kind of look at your lifestyle in a similar way? Can you look at you as a human, like, and the electrical energy that you're getting, the universal energy that you're getting? What all is it going to? Is this balanced? Does this make sense? Because as you know, if things aren't energized properly, either there's just not going to be any energy going to like one of the rooms, or it could like blow the breaker. Like if there's no energy, there's just no energy. If there's too much energy, well, it results in there being no energy. So we're rebalancing totally our energy during this time. And I think that a lot of people are kind of doing this or going about this in a stubborn way. I'm seeing a lot of people in this retrograde Earth trine with bad habits, especially like bad dietary habits. That's very, very prevalent right now. And it's getting to a point for some people where it's like just many things become unacceptable. And that's what I see. Retrograde Earth trine, many unacceptable things, many things which are not viable or not real as well. Like a lot of time spent thinking about things which are not actually a part of the equation. I was talking in the September comprehensive astrology video, which should be coming soon to YouTube. I've just filmed that one as well, about how a big part of September is like people kind of like visualizing or creating these like visionary components of their day where they're like, this could be that. It's like the Saturn and Neptune in Pisces as well. Trying to create a different idea, trying to like compose a different setting for your life, but not quite being willing yet to actually be that or do that. This is also, I think, one of the reasons why we're manifesting this retrograde Earth trine is because it's like as you kind of detach or dissociate from the physical reality of your present moment, it, on one hand, is an indication to the universe that you're not satisfied with what currently is, but it could also be an indication that what currently is not acceptable or not viable. It's one of the two. So that is going to lead to a gap between like what you want as a person and what's physically here. So that's like a retrograde Earth trine. So what that's going to mean is that either things have to change, or there has to be a realization that there's something inside that is like longing for a different way or longing for something to change. And what is that? Okay, so this Mercury retrograde in Virgo, it's also interesting for turning off some of these mundane daily things just a little bit and actually figuring out what we want at a deeper level. I think that a lot of people are going to have to do that during this transit, and it could be a good time to do that. It could also be, you know, Mercury retrograde in Virgo is going to be full of small inconveniences for some people. So like I'm saying, if you can work in the before this transit or in the early part of this transit to just have certain aspects of your life kind of battened down or in as sustainable a territory as possible so that you can actually answer some of the bigger questions. Like people with this transit being that we have the Pisces side also activated with Neptune, this specific retrograde is not going to happen on either exact opposition to Neptune or Saturn, but nonetheless they're there. So I feel like a lot of people are really trying to orient, you know, the dream with like the real life potential and trying to kind of come to conclusions about some of the big questions in their life. And interestingly, it's all coming together through removing as many of the kind of like unsure aspects of your life as possible. So if you have these things that are like unsure, or if you have these things that are unresolved, they either need to be resolved now or they need to be put to the side at least. And bigger questions need to be answered. I'm seeing a lot of people distracted by small, somewhat unimportant events and not answering the bigger questions. This Mercury retrograde in Virgo could either scramble things to the extent where you have to answer the bigger question, or it could throw these smaller issues, these more mundane issues, into such a higher level of importance that they have to be solved now. So the overarching thesis, I think, of this time for me is like either the bigger questions are getting answered here or the smaller things are getting resolved. It's not going to continue into this like constant chaos of like, well, I don't understand like what I want to do, but like also these small systems in my life aren't right. Like that's just total chaos. So there's going to be some type of order, and maybe it's both for some people, but it's going to probably have to be one or the other. So at a more physical level, what this could look like is like, okay, there's an unsustainable energy output happening in my life. Maybe I overtrain, or maybe I overexercise. Well, this could be like a stress injury, and you could have to like find a different kind of exercise, or you could have to further balance out that routine, and also then totally question at a deeper level why it is that you're pushing so hard in an area, in one area, you know, again, like one circuit, rather than kind of like generalizing the energy or integrating things in a more equal way or in a more balanced way. Also, what this could look like is, okay, so we have some type of like PTSD or some type of trauma that's unresolved for a really long time, and it invokes a bigger question about like, are we willing to be like happy in our lives or not? What could happen is you could like start a relationship with somebody who refuses to be happy, or somebody who feeds off of like total darkness and negativity all the time. And what this kind of does is it kind of like subjects you to like what this refusal to solve something or heal from something leads to in the long run. So you can get kind of like gifts from the universe also in this way, where it's like, okay, this stress injury, it's not good, but like it's actually showing me that I'm imbalanced with how I output energy and I can solve that. Okay, this relationship with this person who's like on a negative loop all the time doesn't seem good, but it kind of like teaches me something about like where I don't want to be. Okay, so there is, that's what I'm going to say, this retrograde Earth trine, there's going to be something for everybody of like having to experience or go through something that's maybe not optimum, but it's very teaching with regards to momentum and what things lead to at the end of the day without changes, which for some people is like a good or bad result, but we need to like measure that here. It's a great transit for remeasuring, okay? Getting better fitting clothes, remeasuring your experience, remeasuring your longer term plan. And once this goes direct on September 14th, by the time we get to the end of September and actually into October, as the sun approaches the South Node in Libra, Mercury will go direct. There's going to be a aha moment around the time of like middle to later October. Really like that October 10th to 20th period of time is going to be an aha moment for a lot of people relating to these longer term events and planning, where a lot of these systems are going to have to be put into a better place, and we're going to have to totally choose something, okay? A bigger choice coming during that time. So knowing that, and knowing that this Mercury retrograde is happening, it's a good time to start ordering our thoughts, systems, and routines in a way that would allow for that larger aha moment in October. So anyway, everyone, that's about it for this Mercury retrograde in Virgo. I just wanted to speak about it, as I'm sure you're all interested in what this transit might mean. Do check out the description box below, where all 12 of the September 2023 forecasts will be available by the 1st of the month. There are also weekly tea chats over there, which are only available over there. Your likes, comments, and subscriptions are also very helpful. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Have a great one. Bye.